Listen, those guys back then, I mean, they were making 20 grand a month off of boards.
I'm one of those guys.
See?
Supposedly to this day, I've heard some rep, like when my board came out, I had the highest month that they ever had.
What?
Yeah, supposedly when it came out. And like when you're at home and you're getting that first check, and I was home alone, I'm like, oh, and I'm looking at this thing, I'm like,
Is that right? Is that good?
Sitting in his box eating Cheerios.
you know what it's like to look at a check and you're questioning, okay, now these two things are cents and that's a dot, so that's change. Okay, we got that, we know that.
Change.
1, 2, 3, that's 100, then you have a comma, and then you get into the thousands. I go like, so that... No, it must be wrong. Oh,
You're
man,
almost like, should
bad
I
at math.
call him?
Yeah, I'm going to
I
call
go,
him real quick.
This is in the bank.
I'm going to the bank.
Yeah, let me go deposit it, then call him.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
not even call him if they ask
probably
for
not
it
gonna
back.
call him.
I don't know.
I'm going to look it up in a dictionary because you didn't have the internet back then. So I'm going to look it up. What is proper? And I remember looking at, and then my folks came home, and it was the raddest thing. I showed, my mom was like, oh, what? And I showed my dad. My dad is very man of few words, like whatever. And I showed him, and he was like, because he's like, oh, what are you going to do with the skateboard?
Right.
And I go, Dad, here's my first check for a month. And he's like, oh, whatever.
Still.
Not impressed.
No, not impressed. I go, holy, whatever. And then the car gets backed up, and we have this like longer driveway. And then my dad's there with my little sister, and he's got my board, and he's rolling down the driveway.
No.
He's
That
like,
must
I'm
have meant a
jumping on
lot.
this thing.
That must have meant a lot to you.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's rad.
You a little
That's
choked up
super
thinking about it.
sick.
That's
Wow.
pretty cool.
Oh, damn.
No, but yeah, I was going like, all right, that's it a lot. He's like,
That's amazing.
And then you just told me, he's like, hey, look, if you're making that much money doing this, I'm switching careers.
I'm in the wrong. Yeah.
And he was a Learjet pilot too.
Really?
Yeah. He was a Learjet pilot, like, and also licensed mechanic. He was
No
gnarly.
way.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. We're so on the like.
Wow. Mechanical engineer?
No. Well, he basically he flew Learjets, and he could also work on the literally like a mechanic. Like,
Got you.
He's a licensed, like he could actually work on these jets as well. So
Okay.
yeah. So
There he is,
Amazing.
skateboarding out front on your board.
Yeah. He's rolling.
How old were you when you got your first check?
I don't know. Was I 8? I was 1920. I was kind of older. I was a couple years older. So I was I 19 maybe?
Okay.
1920. But it was so rad back then.
Not 1920, actual 19 or 20.
The year was 1920. Carriages were a big thing.
Went from the 70s to the 20s.
I was the first
all
guy
over
to
the
saddle
place.
back and
Yeah.
ollie off a horse.
You're the first side saddle ever.
First side saddle. Yeah. Oh God, that made me lose my train of thought.
No. We were
Oh.
selling all those boards.
So Powell graphics lasted so long.
Yes,
The
they
graphics
did.
lasted a long time. So that was really cool. It's like, well, you had something you really wanted to try to brand yourself as that or whatever you are, which was really cool. And having that happen like to us, it was like Stacy was so smart about the team that he knew we were going to be making so much money at the
Right.
time. So he and George met with my parents, and same with Ray. They met with him. They go, hey, look, you got to look out for him. He's going to make a lot of money, and he better try to organize it. And so, and it was rad. Like with Tony, like, we all kind of took advice from him. Like, oh, you got to watch your taxes for this. Like, he had an agent. He was pretty smart about it. So we kind of we learned a lot from him.
Definitely.
Like, here's how you should manage being a professional skateboarder.
Because, I mean, for the audience out there, it's like they're giving you're an independent contractor, right? So they're giving you money without taxes taken out.
Yeah.
So the government, obviously, they want their cut.
Yeah. And they took their
quarterly.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, you
Advised quarterly.
Good advice. Quarterly, for sure.
Some true
But it's a lot of
confessions.
money, You spend 20 grand. I mean, you make 20 grand. You're like, this is, little do you know later on
Yeah.
that you're going to have to cut that in half,
Yeah.
whatever.
Close to it.
A good friend of mine, Per Willender, and when my board was coming out, he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if you should do the native graphic thing. He's like, Monty Nolder has like an Indian shield thing. It's like, I don't think he really does well. I'm like, well, respects to Monty, but I go, he's a vert guy. I'm more of a street guy. And I go, our graphics look totally different. He's like, I don't think it's going to be grouped as this native thing. And I don't even know if Monty actually had if he's native at all or what his background is, but
Who do you skate for?
Hosoi, I think at the time.
Oh, Hosoi. Okay.
I think so. I think it was a Hosoi board.
Got you.
So it was, and I didn't even realize that it was this kind of it was a shield or had a coin on it or something. And I go, I didn't even realize that it was this kind of native angle thing.
Wait a minute.
I think it had an arrowhead.
It was an
Yeah,
arrowhead. It was an
yeah.
arrowhead, like a coin thing on it, and I didn't really know what it was. I thought it was a good graphic, but I didn't know what it was. And Pear was just like, I don't know. You better think about, he was very business oriented. Like, I go, you want to be able to, and he taught me a lot. We're on the road. Like, hey, look, when you go to shops, make sure. Go in there, say hey to everybody, don't be a douche.
Yeah.
And
They're the ones ordering that board.
Yeah, he goes,
Yeah.
those are the guys that are going to order boards. He goes, don't go in there be a kiss ass. But I go, and he goes, find out what sells, what's there. So when you turn pro, it's going to happen. And I remember him telling me that. I go, you think I'll be pro one day? That's awesome. He's like, no, you will, but just do this. And he's like, be smart about this. And then when my board came out, he's like, well, you'll probably maybe make $6-7 grand the first check, but that's going to go away, and it's going to go down to this and this, that. And he was a good friend of mine, so I told him. He's like, "What?"
Well, you made the right choice. Yeah. We might not even know the answer to this, but back then, when you turned pro and you were making a $20,000 check for a month, how many people were pro on Powell, and what other companies were there? There was Santa Cruz, like there, Vision. I mean, there weren't that many, right? There was like a handful.
The Big Five.
The Big Five.
Yeah, probably.
Was Schmidt Stick gone by then?
Was Schmidt Stick around then? Schmidt Stick was there.
Yeah.
Schmidt Stick was there. GNS was there.
Yeah, I was gonna say
GNS,
GNS,
okay.
yeah.
See, and GNS, I always thought like Stacy was such a part of like keeping this team and marketing and doing all these things together. I always thought GNS, if they would have had, and I don't know who their team managers were, but they had so much talent on that team. It was like Chris Miller, Neil Blender. I think one time it was Jeff Phillips. I think Gator was on there. And let me see who else.
Wasn't it Chris
Eric
Carter?
Juden.
Chris Carter?
Carter was.
Damn.
Didn't he start it or didn't he own
No,
it?
it was like TM back then, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, was Chris Carter?
Because then they would have to go do Alien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
No,
after-
he
before
was
the fact.
he was working at Tracker before he went to before Alien. I know he was my team manager for a while.
For a tracker.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So how many people were on Powell with boards?
God.
Rough. I don't know.
Well, like the Animal Chin guys, Rodney, Kevin Harris, Peralta. I think Per had. No, I don't think he had a street board yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
A small handful.
Yeah, like 10, possibly, at most.
Yeah.
At most, maybe. Yeah.
So we're looking at the time skateboarding's blown up, like you said, like these guys are, everybody's rock stars. So yeah, you're selling a lot of boards.
Yeah. And and Stacy is with his marketing stuff. He was like,
The good old days.
yeah,
Oh, man.
yeah. He actually. I remember doing these ads, and some of the ads I just hated, but I was stoked to get them. But he was like, "Oh, here's your face shot. Here's this, is that." And they're like, "Oh no, I just did this handrail thing, or I just did this one thing." I go, "Can we shoot that or whatever?" And he's like, "No, it's we need people to know who you are. We're branding you as this." He's like, "This is what we need to be doing to push you.
Smart.
You need to be getting editorial and everything on your own.
Right.
We need you to go." And I'm going like, "Wait, I have a job." Literally, I got to be doing something. Yeah, it's your job to do well in contests and also try to get some of the coverage. So you back up all the stuff that we're promoting with. And it's like I'm still living off of things that happened way back when that people know me from all over the world. Like my art stuff, they're going like, "Oh yeah, you're the same Steve Size that
Was in
hooked
this
up with my
video.
sister in Norway."
Sure.
But probably should have said that. but yeah, so it was God, why did I just threw my brain into a different realm?
No, I love it. I love it. I mean, skateboarding's changed so much. When nowadays it's like these companies. I mean, we can make a board company right now, sitting here.
I got some paper.
You got paper?
I got some paper.
You're an
You
artist.
could- you could
I got
definitely make some graphics for us.
I'll do the first graphic.
Yeah.
I'm great artist.
Oh, cool.
I drew Andy Hell a photo.
Oh, you did?
I drew him a
Oh
picture.
yeah, it was really, really good. It was.
I saw that episode. Andy's a homeboy of mine, so I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I
drew just a skater who's doing a wheelie.
Why doesn't Steve
a
think about
wheelie
the idea? and
I
then
know what
Chris-
manual means. You could tell me that too.
You just
a wheelie.
you think of the idea and then Chris draws it, and then
Yeah.
we go from there.
Yeah, that would be
Dude,
perfect.
this is gonna be the best company ever.
What are you gonna call
Ever.
it? Steve Krob?
Steve. We'll just call it Steve.
Yeah,
Anybody with the name Steve is going to buy our shit.
I got some graphics for it. There
we go.
They're been
There
in
we
the
go.
folder.
Steve Skateboards. Where is that like button? Right? Is it right here or right here?
Just a little scroll coming down the bottom.
It's
Subscribe.
over to it's on your
on my
left.
right? It's on
No,
my
on your
left.
left.
Hey,
Yeah.
hit that
Right there.
button right there.
Right there.
Right
Yeah,
there.
please.
The like button's kind of like in the middle there. It's like we're kind of.
Oh, it's like right here?
Kind of.
Like right
and
there?
The subscribe's like over to the left.
Like right over there. All right.